The next step on our journey is composite or composition of functions.
So in order to understand what this is, we need to know what composite functions are. So a composite function is when the output of one function is used as the input of the second function, notated as f of g or fog. So f g x or goff, which is g f of x, meaning f of g of x or g of f of x.
And I know that's a mouthful, and you're probably going, oh my god, I don't get it. So just sit back and understand. Basically, if I said f of g of x, it means take x, put it into g of x, which 9 times out of 10 it's already there. Or if x is a value, then you put that into g of x. And then whatever you get for an answer there, you then put it into f of x. So it's best seen in action. So we have here, let f of x equal x squared minus 1 and g of x equal 3x. 3x. We want to find fog, or f of g of x. So the first step is going to be to work from the inside out, so starting with g of x, or right to left. So either way, starting with g of x, and we're going to not plug, we're going to substitute the value into the first function. So it says, we start in the inside out, it says we're going to put x into g of x. Oh, but it's already there. So then we can right away go to the next step, because that first step really kind of focuses on the next type of problem. We're going to take that answer from step 1, which is 3x, which means we're going to find f of 3x. And we're going to put it into the second function. So that means that everywhere there's this beautiful little x, we're going to replace it with g of x. So that means x squared, so 3x, which is what our x squared is. And what I like to do is I'll put parentheses around whatever I'm going to be replacing, so then I can go back and fill it in. Minus 1. So 3x all squared, we have to square the 3, we have to square the x, that's 9x squared minus 1. And that is my answer. So now, before you go, I don't get it, just sit back and listen. So the next one says, I want to find f of g of 4. So that means I'm going to start by finding g of 4. I'm not even going to acknowledge the fact that I've already found f of g of x. I'm going to show you how this works in process. So it says I'm going to find g of 4. So that means that I'm going to take 3 times x, but x is 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. So now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to find f of 12, because that's what I just found. So that means I'm going to have x squared minus 1. But x is now 12. 12 squared is 144, minus 1, which is 143. Now if I had gone the route of saying, well, I already found f of g of x, and I put in 4 here, 4 squared is 16. 16 times 9, you guessed it, it's 144. Minus 1 is 143. Either way will work. So then we've got g of f of x. So what that means is I'm going to take f of x, and I'm going to put it into g. So g is 3x. But we're going to put f of x in there, which is x squared minus 1. You guessed it, just like we had to do yesterday, we're going to distribute. So we got 3 times x squared, which is 3x squared, and 3 times negative 1, which is minus 3. The last one, I'm weird like this. These are my favorite ones. So what this means is I'm going to take first f of negative 2. Well, f is x squared, so x squared minus 1, but x is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So now I'm going to take this 3, and I'm going to put this 3 now into f again. So now I'm going to find f of 3. So it's still x squared minus 1. But now my x is 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. 8 is my final answer. Now, let's try one. So let's see one more challenging. Now we got a square root in there. So we're going to find g of f of x. So g of x says x squared plus 1. But x squared, we're going to put in, instead of x, we're going to put in our f of x, which is the square root of x minus 1. Well, square rooting and squaring are inverses of each other, or opposites, so they undo one another. So the square root of x minus 1 squared is x minus 1. So then we have plus 1. Now before you start freaking out going, oh my god, I don't understand square roots, and guess what? I've been nice. We did not put any square root ones on the test. We did not put any square root ones in the quiz, or the final, or even your assignment. I just want to show you how they work. Well, x minus 1 plus 1 is x. So then it says, I want to find f of g of 3. So first I'm going to find g of 3. Well, g is x squared plus 1. But I have x as 3. Well, 3 squared is 9, plus 1 is 10. So now I'm going to take 10, and I'm going to find f of 10. Well, f is the square root of x plus, oh sorry, not plus, minus. X minus 1. Well, x is now 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. Square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. We'll get into that. If you just gave me 3, I'd be okay with that, but it really is plus or minus. So now, I want you to try. I've got that f of x is equal to negative 2x squared plus 3, and g of x equals 4x. Follow your notes. Find f of g of x, f of g of 5, and g of f of x. And I'm curious where your thinking is on, is f of g of x and g of f of x the same? And as always, bring your questions with you to class.